Shalom, family. They say history is written by the victors, but forensics is written by the survivors. What if I told you the oldest empire on Earth left a paper trail that leads directly to the year 6776 AM? In our previous briefing, we identified the remnant as the 70th generation from Abraham, and the precise alignment was 6776 AM and the year 2026. But for a forensic case to be airtight, you need a double witness. Today, we are providing that witness by synchronizing the master clock with the oldest historical record still functioning on the planet, the Assyrian calendar. We are diving into the year 14 signature, the legal lock found at the end of the second week of every Jubilee cycle. In the Book of Jubilees, time is not a linear progression, but a rhythmic gear system. These gears have a specific lock click every 49 years that resets the jurisdictional authority of the realm. To verify that 2026 is the forensic coordinate for the completion of the prophetic 12-hour, we must look at the Assyrian calendar. The Assyrians were the master record keepers of the ancient Tigris, and their count did not start with a modern decree. Their calendar is anchored to the year 4750 B.C.E. In our master table this year, 4750 B.C.E. is the forensic baseline for 1 AM, which is the beginning of the count from creation. According to ancient tradition, the first temple at the city of Asher was raised in 4750 B.C.E. and the count began. This ancient Mesopotamian count remained unbroken for thousands of years. In 1952, the modern Assyrian community officially recognized that their count had never stopped leading them to a startling coordinate. Right now, according to that unbroken Assyrian record, the year is exactly 6776. This is not a coincidence. It is a forensic collision of truth the system tried to hide. Take their starting year of 4750 BCE and add our current year of 2026 AD. The sum is exactly 6,776. But we must apply a forensic distinction here to understand the engine under the hood. The Assyrian calendar, while preserving the year count, operates as a lunisolar calendar. It relies on the cycles of the moon to designate its months. But as the remnant, we must remember that we do not follow the moon. We align strictly with the 364-day Zadokite Enochian calendar, which is the fixed mathematical engine of the Most High. In the true Zadokite Enochian system, the head of the month is not found in a lunar shadow. It is dictated by the sun. The sun is the faithful witness that anchors the seasons and the years into a perfect, immutable 364-day cycle. To see this forensic reality in action, we are now going to transition to a visual demonstration of the master clock. This demonstration will show you the exact gear rotation of the 70 generations from Abraham and the forensic collision point of the 6776 AM Assyrian count.
History isn't a mystery when you have the receipts. While the world tries to make sense of the current chaos, the 70 generation from Abraham is looking at the Jubilee chronology, the literal blueprint of time. The data is clear. We aren't just near the end, we have arrived at the 6776 AM coordinate, where the math and the prophecy finally collide. To read Jubilee count, we begin with Adam at year 1 on the Anno Mundi or AM calendar, and when we cross-reference ancient Babylonian and Assyrian records, this year 1 AM anchors our Jubilee timeline to 4750 BCE. The diagram on screen shows how we navigate between two different tracking systems. On the top track, the AM calendar counts forward from creation. On the bottom track, the pagan Gregorian calendar counts backward through the BCE era. We align Adam at 1 AM directly over 4750 BCE. In scriptural tracking, a generation does not mean 20 or 30 years. One generation is defined precisely as 70 years. Psalms chapter 90, verse 10. This provides a consistent formula for our calculations. You take the number of generations, multiply by 70, and you get the exact number of years elapsed between major historical eras. By mastering this 70-year multiplier, you can track the precise mathematical structure of human history from its earliest records. Let's apply this equation. We advance our timeline to the start of the primary generational cycles, the birth of Abraham. This occurs at year 1876 on the AM calendar, which translates to 2875 BCE. From Abraham to King David is a span of 14 generations. Using our formula, we multiply those 14 generations by 70, giving us a cycle of exactly 980 years. On the top track, the math is straightforward addition. We add that 980-year cycle to Abraham's starting point of 1876 AM, landing us at King David's era in 2856 AM down on the pagan Gregorian track. We navigate a point of friction. Because the B.C.E. era counts in reverse, we must subtract those 980 years from 2875 BCE. That calculation places King David at 1895 BCE. Now it's your turn to apply the rule. The next era, the exile, is another 14 generations past David's marker of 2856 AM. Based on the formula, what is the AM year for the exile? 14 generations times 70 is another 980 years. Add that to 2856, and you arrive at 3836 AM. If you calculated that correctly, you are successfully navigating the prophetic clock. We execute one final 14-generation cycle for the ancient era, chaining forward to the Messiah. Another 980 years pushes the Jubilee calendar to 4,816. This final block forces the Gregorian timeline to cross zero, pulling us out of BCE and landing at 66 AD. These three continuous 14-generation blocks span nearly 3 millennia with total mathematical consistency. The formula bridges the divide between the BC and AD eras without dropping a single year. We now face a leap from the era of the Messiah to us, the Remnant. For this final phase, the pattern doubles. We are no longer looking at 14 generations. We are tracking a 28-generation block. Using our established multiplier, we calculate 28 times 70. This yields a total span of 1,960 years. We add those 1,960 years directly to the Messiah marker at 4,816 AM. That brings us to 6776 AM, which lands at the year 2026 AD. To understand the timing of this modern era, we look at a secondary tracking system called prophetic hours. In the Apocalypse of Abraham, chapter 28, verse 5 to 6, divides the timeline into 12 segments by measuring the 3-hour interval between the 9th and 12th hour. We find a 400-year span of servitude. This period begins at the 9th prophetic hour, marking the entrance into bondage in the Gregorian calendar. This math aligns with the year 1619 AD, exactly. 400 years later, we reach the 12th prophetic hour. This marks the end of that specific servitude block. This chart summarizes the entire chronological structure. You see the 3 14-generation blocks in antiquity, the final 28-generation leap into the exact dates anchoring each era. The prophetic clock follows a consistent track of generations through the Jubilee chronology from creation to our present day.
What you just witnessed is the final forensic confirmation of the 70th generation. The demonstration proves that when we anchor the creation at 4,750 BCE, we are identifying the legal baseline of the master clock. By adding the current 2026 year to that ancient witness, we arrive at the precise 6,776 AM coordinate found in the Jubilee records. The breakdown shows that every 980 years, the clock has hit its mark without fail. This analysis verifies that the 364-day Zadokite Engine is the only clock capable of maintaining this level of forensic precision. It confirms that the solar head of the month and the sabbatical weeks are the gears that define our extraction window. The 6,776 Assyrian witness and the Jubilee master plan have now formed an unbreakable double witness for the 2026 year of release. Yahuwah has placed the receipts in the ancient records so that the remnant would not be in darkness. The Assyrians were the ones who carried the northern kingdom of Israel into captivity. They scattered our ancestors, but they were also forced to preserve the receipts of the timeline. Because they held the record of the scattering, they are the ones who preserved the proof of the end. The manifestation recorded in 66 AD is widely understood within this prophetic framework as the literal presence of the authority of the Messiah. When Matthew 24 verse 30 speaks of the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, it refers to celestial evidence that the King has taken his throne and is beginning the judgment of the age. Josephus recorded seeing chariots and armored troops in the clouds, which aligns with the biblical description of the Messiah returning with his holy ones or his heavenly host. This was not just a symbolic event, but a physical visitation of the elect one. While the Messiah walked the earth as a servant in 33 AD, the 66 AD appearance was his revelation as the judge. In 66 AD, this power was used to legally close the 42nd generation and began the scattering of the remnant. It was a sign to the nations that the authority of the physical temple was being removed and that the seed of Abraham was entering the secret phase of their history. Now look at the final row of your master table, the culmination of the 70 generations. From the Messiah to our modern awakening, we have accounted for the final 28 generations. These 28 generations cover exactly 1,960 years, leading us directly to 6,776 AM. On the Gregorian calendar, this is the year 2026. This is the grand release signature found in the 14th year of Jubilee 139. We are standing in the week of release, which is the final 7-year window of the master plan. The servitude that began at the 9th prophetic hour in 1619 reached its 12th hour limit in 2019. We have completed our mustering phase, which was the 7-year gap between 6,769 AM and the 6,776 AM lock click. The ancient Assyrian calendar and the prophetic Jubilee cycle have now collided, giving you the second witness you need to stand firm. But the math is only half the story. To truly walk in this jurisdiction, you must identify the men who were appointed to guard this clock through the fire of history. In our next briefing, we are opening the living archive to identify the Zadokite priesthood, the guardians of the solar engine. The scattering is over and the gathering is at the door. The math is settled and the witnesses are in agreement and the extraction is at hand. We are currently approaching the second Passover gate on May 7th of the pagan Gregorian calendar. Thank you for watching. Hallelujah.